morning, everyone. I hope you are able to hear me and you are able to watch my screen. So we have all our demo first video is there in our YouTube. Please go through it. Okay. So and please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to this. You'll be able to get it here. Yes, Jishan, the first demo session, what we have discussed last session was about the ERP. So what is ERP product? And as well as we have this is our subscription RTL online training, and this is our first demo session, which is already there in the live. Okay, yes, I'm going to unmute you. You can talk with me. Any doubts about GL module and AP? Yes, Venkat and Prasanna and Jishan. Any other doubts, please let me know. We'll discuss on that. Yes.
Thanks for unmuting me, sir. This is my very first class. One of my friend, Imran, he's living in US and he's from Hyderabad, and he recommended me to join this session. And I'm really feeling very pleased to be here. My first question is regarding will you please give us a brief introduction or quick recap? Like, are we going to implement? Are we going to learn the implementation? Number one, do we have access to like all modules like GL, AP? I don't know if we have cash management here or not, and fixed assets, because I used to work in the release 12, and my last project was in 2014, and after that I am in other domains. So my basic purpose is to join the cloud training and quickly learn, how I may become an implementer by using the cloud software as a service model.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I got it here. So we'll be discussing about the syllabus. Let me go for our demo session, what we had last class. We discussed what is ERP product and different ERPs available in the market, and what about Fusion ERP. So, and what are the advantages of the Fusion ERP applications, cloud ERP, and what are different environments we can implement Fusion ERP to the client, like cloud SaaS model, cloud PaaS model, and on-premises. And functional role is common in any environment. So if any clients are going, as you said, you want to become a cloud, consultant as an implementation consultant. This is the right place where you are, and right time, in fact, because if we look at our clients like ERP implementation, I started my career in ERP in 2004. It's almost 15 years back. Earlier, we used to have an ERP implementation only on the on-premises environment. So it was a lengthy process. As I told the last session, like we need to, the client has to buy the license and buy the server and DBAs, installation, network administration, maintenance. So ERP implementation was a big task. And in fact, small and medium clients can't implement. Only level 5 companies like TCS, Wipro, Deloitte, Accenture, this big clients can implement ERP products to the client. But now, once the cloud has came into the picture, if we look at last 4 or 5 years, the implementations has become very less time, and small and medium clients are going like anything to implement the cloud ERPs due to this shortage of the cost effective is very less. 90% of the amount which can be saved, and even small and big clients also came to know that the ERP implementation for their business will help them to keep the entire business under control, and they can go ahead with that. So that going forward, like if we look at the next 2 to 3 years, it means in 2021 and 22. So it will be very good for people who are ready to implement the ERP cloud and independent consultants and freelancers. This will be very huge down the line if you are a good implementer for a particular domain. For example, if you say I can implement financials end-to-end modules to the client uh, in single hand, in the sense a freelancer, so it will be very demanding position, and even we can directly interact with the clients and gather requirement and do the things, and we can provide support to multiple clients, so who will implement in the cloud over there. Okay, so that's actually the cloud concept nowadays, how the clients, and even it's good. There is some bad news and as well as the good news. The bad news is ERP implementations has become very easy nowadays, because maximum features are provided by the Oracle, uh, like Oracle or product based company, whoever it is. So even SAP also started cloud, and other like Salesforce, Workday, a number of people has came into the market with maximum features, whatever is required for the clients. So due to that, the implementation of the ERPs has become very easy and short time and very less price. That's one of the thing, one of the negative news for the ERP consultants. But the positive is earlier only if 40 people are implementing ERP out of 100, now it became 80%. So it's became double. It means earlier ERP implementations was like, if we speak in India, if they have at least 40-50 crores turnover per year, they used to implement the ERP products to their business. But now the people who are having 10 crores per year business, they are ready to implement the ERP products to their business and maintain their complete business transactions on the server and in the cloud, due to safety or upgradation or easy access, and these all things are going. That's really good news for the ERP consultants who are ready to work as an implementation consultant and also as a freelancer. A lot of opportunities will be there down the line, next 2 to 3 years. I can't say immediately, but down the line, if we see next 2 to 3 years, it will be very good. If somebody start the implementation right from today and having good experience in next to 3 years, then after 3 years, then you can have a very good relationship with the clients and continue on that. So when it comes to the product, as we discussed, we have financials fully stabilized, human capital management, supply chain management, and customer relationship management. All the four domains are fully stabilized. Out of that, I'm going to take now the functional part of financials, which we will be discussing end-to-end implementation of general ledger, account payables, account receivables, and fixed assets, and cash management, and fees and taxes, expenses. During this financials entire business process implementation and transaction process, we'll be talking about procure to pay cycle and order to cash cycle, and also functional setup manager, which will give us more, and expenses as already specified over here. It's not required again. It's already mentioned over here. So that's going to be our functional modules end-to-end implementation process. When it comes to the technical, so we can see that, yes, when we say we are experienced cloud financial consulting, when we say we are working in cloud financials last 2 or 3 years, definitely the expectation from the interviewer or from the client will be says that have you loaded the data into the cloud? Have you extracted the data from the cloud? Have you built any BI reports or OTBI dashboards? Have you made any personalizations? This is the expectation from the interviewer or from the client, so that we are supposed to be strong. And in fact, all the data loading, data extractions, personalizations, these all are drag and drop, except BI reports remaining all places, we can easily understand and work. But in BI reports, what happened? If you want to build a BI report, it should be a strong SQL concepts. It should be strong in SQL select statements. Then only we'll be able to do that. But still, we'll be discussing a couple of reports, how to develop suppliers or invoice reports. That this is a summary of our course, what we are going to discuss functionally and as well as the technically. And when it comes to the general ledger, these are the setups we'll be performing end-to-end process. Right from the scratch, we'll be defining our own legal entities, ledgers, and subledger accounting and transactions, currency, everything. And these are transactions. This is about account payables. We have the setups and the transactions, account receivables, cash management, fixed assets, taxes and expenses, and procure to pay and order to cash cycle. These are P2B setups and the transactions, O2C setups and the transactions we'll be discussing. And this is our technical part, what we are going to do that even as a financial consultant. So this is the syllabus of our financials, what we are going to do down the line next 2 months. Exactly. We are supposed to discuss procurement, definitely, because when we would like to raise the account payables invoices without creating the purchase order, receipt negotiations and all, it's difficult to continue in account payables. So we'll be talking about that also.
So, sorry, sir, one more question. So, are we also discussing the setup related part of procurement, or we also have to create invoice and we need to make sure like we are getting our invoices?
I cannot assure. Yes, got it. Got it. We cannot assure. See, we cannot go for implementation of complete supply chain management consultant type of procurement. But whatever we required for financial consultant, that will be performing it is. So when we talk about procurement, yes. So anybody is having doubts? Yes, Bharadwaj, Venkat, Prasanna, are you clear with this? Fine. So this is what our first demo, last class, what we have discussed, and about ERP products, different types of ERPs, cloud and on-premises, and core syllabus. And we did a small user creation and Fusion applications. So today what we are going to do is, we are going to take that username and we are going to, because entire Fusion applications is a role-based access control. It means if you assign the role, based on the role, user can access the particular application, account payables or receivables or general ledger or whatever it is. Okay, so we need to assign the roles to the user so that user can access the role. That's what we are going to discuss today, and then we'll talk about the enterprise structure theoretically. We'll be doing that practically again later whenever we start an implementation. Nothing but a multi-arc. So if you are from EBS background, we can say it's a simply a multi-arc concept option here. And account payables creation, how to create one invoice today, we'll be discussing that. Okay. So this is, as I discussed, as I told, this is a demo session. We'll be doing it. Otherwise, we can't go for directly invoice unless and until we'll complete. So first we'll be starting in our options. First general ledger will complete, then account payables, like that one by one. We'll be doing right from the scratch. So even if you start working as an independent consultant at client, for example, after completion of this training, if you are perfect practically and theoretically, and you go to a client place without any help, if you wanted to go for implement the applications single-handedly, you can also use, you can complete very easily after completion of this particular training. Okay, fine. Give me a couple of minutes time. We'll continue over there. Couple of minutes. Yes, it takes 6 to 7, same time. And it will be 2 months time, complete implementation. And we will be providing you the lab, and you can go for implementation of this 24/7 you can access. If you have an internet, and we'll give you the cloud server access, you can go for practice at your home. Anywhere in the world, you need just internet connection, and you have to just log into our URL, yeah, and then you have to start practicing. It will be based on your patience how you are going to do that. Okay, so that's
And
before that.
and so what about the days like 5 days a week we will have class, or
Yes, Monday to Friday it will be.
Monday to Friday? Okay, thank you.
Monday to Friday, and Saturday, what happened, additional sessions will be going on. Some project sessions, doubt sessions will be taking for other batches people. So interested people will be attending. That's not the part of our course. Okay. So that's additional hour we will be taking. So if somebody wanted to speak, that will be updated. But regular sessions will be from Monday to Friday.
And you were talking about the weekend sessions. So weekend sessions would be also at the same time or maybe another time?
That will be mostly 8 o'clock, 8 to 9 like that, because all the people will log in and do the things.
So is it 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.?
It will be AM IST only, but not every week. That is for the people, any doubts, last batch people wanted to ask some doubts, or they might have attended for interviews. They'll be asking some doubts.
Yeah.
This type of, see, like last week, earlier batch people, they might have attended some interviews, or they have joined in company and they wanted to go for some doubts and all this.
And that will be great. Can you keep me in your distribution list? So whenever you have such session, please kindly send me
Yes,
the
yes, sir.
email.
Every communication we will be doing through WhatsApp group. If you look at here, we will create a WhatsApp group for the batch, and through that we will be communicating. I will be also the part of that WhatsApp group. So we will be, the information will be equal to everybody on this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, give me a couple of minutes, everyone, guys. We'll continue. Thank you. Yes, guys. So we have role-based access control. I hope you are clear with my voice and everybody. Okay. So now we have a role-based access control here. And whenever we assign the role to the user, based on the role, user can access the product. So let me create a new user. It won't take much time. So we'll just go to user menu and set up and maintenance, and we'll come back into this process and enter the task name, create implementation users. We have separate options how to create an implementation project and how to choose our offerings, financials. We'll be discussing that whenever we start our main course of action. As we said, this is a demo today, and tomorrow also is going to be a demo, Thursday. In our, if we look at demo, tomorrow it will be this third day. Then actually it is supposed to be today, it will be the last, but yesterday I was not well, and there was some additional assignments for me. So it has got delayed. Okay, from Friday onwards, we'll start the sessions over here, regular sessions. Okay, so now I'm just trying to create an user here. So let me enter here a username, first name and last name. Re-enter the password here. So there are different types of roles actually. When we are working in Fusion, we have like abstract roles, data roles, job roles, and duty roles. Like if we compare with EBS, people from EBS background, okay. So what type of access we have seen in EBS? Responsibility. We used to assign the responsibility to the users, and we used to assign the profiles to the user, and based on the responsibility and profiles, user can access the application and as well as the data. And we used to have menus and submenus and pages, DTK forms and OAF pages. Here entire Fusion applications is a ADF. All pages are ADF web pages. And here also we have different options like task list and a list and offerings and methods. We'll be discussing about. As it is a demo, I'm just directly showing you how to create an user and assign the role. Based on the role, how user can access the applications. Again, users are different users. We'll be discussing later, like implementation user and financial transactions user and manage users and employee user. Employee user means we'll hire an employee and we will go for assign the username and password to the user employee, like that. Okay, so let me go for assign these three roles first. Employee role first, I'll assign employee role. You can see the difference. So let me go for add role button. When we try to assign the roles to the user, we will see the multiple names here. We will see multiple names, ORA underscore or PR underscore, abstract, job and all. We'll be discussing about those when we talk about the roles and security. So right now I just added an employee role to the user, and I have saved and closed the task. Let me come back to my main user and log out. Enter username and password. Now I can see here the current user is logged in, and when I go to navigator, he can access only self information. So he can access this only personal information. So whatever employee is there, that personal information is able to access it. Now if I go to here username, sorry, I think we did we got setup and maintenance means there is some problem. Let me check. Automatic, that's the problem. Let me verify. this is a problem. Somebody has enabled these two checkboxes. So auto provision is enabled automatically for every user. That role will be assigned. User no need to request that role from management or no self-requestable. So automatically the moment when you create a username, so the role will be assigned to the users. That's what actually. Okay. So last session, last batch only we discussed about roles, these two roles to the people. That's why I think in the evening batch we discussed. That's a problem. Okay, fine, not an issue. So this two roles also assigned to the users. Now we are able to understand that three roles are there: employee role, IT security manager, and application implementation consultant. Okay, so this both the things we have here. So actually we added employee role, but we got automatically these two roles to the user. Okay, next. Now I wanted to go for attach. I would like to go for attach general ledger roles to the users, general ledger accounting manager and general accountant. So these two roles will give the access to the GL module so that we can perform GL setups and we can perform GL transactions. Both can be performed over here. Okay, so let me go for edit and add role. Select general accountant. You can see here general accountant Australia primary ledger, general accountant Belgium primary ledger, like this. So we will see multiple names here. It is. So we will see multiple names over here, multiple role names that will be generated whenever we go for create a new ledger. Okay. So that time we will be doing this options over here. It is. So now add general accountant, one role, and another role is general accounting manager. So we added two roles, general accountant and general accounting manager. So these two roles are sufficient to implement the GL module and also to perform the GL transactions. We can also create our own roles. Here only we have the access to create our own roles and give the access to few transactions, means few pages. That also we can perform. We'll be discussing that in the next level. So once we add this GL module roles to the user, now we can see that. So let me go back to our application, log out from the current user. We can go to navigator here and we can see that here general ledger. Here. So this is we are getting because of this roles here. Just 1 minute. So whatever we are able to see that here, that we can access from here also. So now if you see that navigator, what we have here, sales and service, these are basic options, and me means self-information that we can see here, sales, service, me, and general accounting. So in general accounting, we can see general accounting dashboards, journals, and period and close. Now, if we go to the task, we will find a lot of other options over here. Exactly. This is the latest version of Fusion. There will be always latest version because Oracle will give the latest version only to everybody. So they won't give the previous. That's the beauty of the cloud. All over the world, they will maintain the same version to everybody. So to every client, they will maintain the same version. Go to home page. And we can go to general accounting, and if you want to create journals and do the setups, we'll be performing transactions. Here it is. Okay, so there are a lot of roles we have to assign that we'll be discussing later. These are basic roles what we did here, because whenever we create ledgers and all, the new roles will be generated that we have to attach to the user. And also we need to create a data access sets based on that user can access that. Next, account payables. If we look at our user does not have any payables, any payables menu doesn't have. We don't have any payables option, right? So now we are going to discuss how to do that. Let me go to setup and maintenance and go to our username. So we have mainly three roles for account payables. One is account payable manager, accounts payable supervisor. Account payables invoice supervisor we have. we are not able to select the role. Yes, account payables manager. So for every business unit, one role will be generated that also can select. We'll talk about that later. Accounts payable managers and accounts payable supervisors. So we have added account payables roles to the user so that we can access account payables application from the user. User can access over there here. Now we can go to, generally login logout is not required. So we'll be able to get, but sometimes it may be delayed. There is something concept called LDAP process, lightweight directory access protocol. So what it will be used to import the roles from security to our main application base tables. Now we can see the account payables in our navigator. Here, this was earlier general accounting, general ledger. Now where is payables? Here. And we can see the payables. We can also see from this dashboard model here. So when I go to payables, we can see payable dashboards and invoices and payments. So when I go to invoices, we can see the invoice transactions here. When I go to task list, account payables, these all are invoices, transactions. These all are transactions, not the setups. Where do we do the setups? Setups will be performing from our here. This is the place where we will perform all our setups. Okay, this. So if you want to perform financial setups, select financials. So in the financials, you want to do general ledger setups from here, and you want to do payable setups, supplier setups, and financial reporting structure, configuring the legal structures. This all we are going to perform from here. Expenses and the fixed assets, account receivables, revenue recognition, customer configuration. This all will be setups performing from this here. So whatever you do from implementation project, it's called setups. Like in EBS, we used to have AOL, application object library, which is a combination of two responsibilities, application developer and system administrator. From those two modules, we used to configure, control our entire module, and then we'll be using the access to the responsibilities undo. The same thing here also. Once we get the access to the particular module, now receivables, I have only funds capture, account receivables. But if you want to access the entire account receivables, you need two roles, account receivable manager and account receivable specialist. Okay. So let me show you how to attach the receivable roles, and then we'll jump on into the next topic called enterprise structure. So right now I'm just showing how to create an user. Okay. Then how to assign the roles to the user. The moment when we assign the roles to the user, how the application can be accessible based on your role. So you'll get an idea of that. So that's what we are going to discuss it. So we added account receivables roles to the user. Now, whenever we go back to the application and log out and log in, then we'll be able to access account receivables entire application, and we'll be able to perform the transactions over here. Where is our receivables? This is payables. This is general ledger and the, yes, receivables here. Earlier there was only funds capture option, but now we have billing, account receivables and revenue. Within the revenue, we will see the funds capture. Now, when I go for billing, billing is nothing but a transactions. We'll be performing general transactions and credit memo and debit memo and chargeback, and we'll be able to go for create all our auto invoice lines, approve the adjustments. This all. The moment when I go to create a transaction, then we can find different types of transactions here, transaction source and transaction type. And it's going to ask me, do you want to raise the invoice or credit memo or debit memo? This we will find out. Okay. So that's about the basic how we can assign the roles. I have shown you only for 3 modules how the role can be assigned. The same way we'll do it for other modules also. The same way we'll do it for other modules also. Now I'm going to show you how to create an account payables invoice over here. How to create an invoice in account payables, so that you can easily understand how we are going to perform. So go to the payables and invoices. Go to task list here. Create an invoice. You can see the invoice from spreadsheets, recurring invoices, manage, and validation of invoices and workflow approvals, importing the invoices, auto account. This all will be finding here, mass additions and all this. And the dashboard itself will shows what are the invoices we got scanned and resent, invoice holds. And generally in EBS, we used to open the page and query, or we need to run the report from the SRS window to see the output, like what are on hold and all this. Now we can see the information is at different levels here. Invoice header and lines, taxes and totals. And you have an option show more fields and show less fields options at header level. And business unit, right now I'm selecting built-in business unit. Later when we are doing the transactions, we'll be doing right from the scratch. Here business unit is nothing but operating unit. Business unit is nothing but operating unit. So I'm selecting the supplier name as advanced the corporation, supplier name and site and legal entity. And going to enter the amount. Here we can see different types of invoices like standard, prepayment, credit memo, debit memo, withholding tax. We can see in our complete account payable, standard invoice, PO based invoice, debit and credit memo. And we'll be discussing about all the types of invoices here, how to configure this. These are the setups we'll be performing, and these are the transactions we'll be performing from account payables. And we can see the payment terms, terms date, who is the requester. And here we will go for enter the line information. So I'm mentioning the line information is 45 amount. If you want to go for any distributions, if you want to modify the taxes, can be modified here. There is an attribute. Now we can see that the invoice is created, but it is not yet validated. So we have different actions here. So we can go for calculate the tax for invoice and validate. We want to go for apply and apply prepayments. In case if invoice is on hold, we can go for release the invoices, approvals, and notification history of the approvals. Here again, approvals we will see initiate. Generally, whatever options we have in EBS, those options we have, and also additional features are provided by Oracle. And in EBS, we used to create an invoice. After that, the 3 standard steps we used to follow, right? After invoice, we used to validate the invoice, and we are going to have the create accounting transactions, and then we used to go for approvals. So 3 steps: validation, approval, and create accounting transactions. Same way here also. If you want to pay in full options, this all will be using here. Invoice needs revalidation. So there is some problem, needs revalidation. Check this. What is the problem? Like your invoice is on hold. Okay. So it needs a revalidation. It is not at accounted and unpaid, and due date is this. Based on our payment terms, the due date will be generated. We said immediate, and our invoice date is on 3rd month, 6th March 2019, and obviously that's the terms date we are able to see here. So there is a manual holds 0, system holds there are 4, and there is some distribution variance 3, and there is a line variance 1 option. Okay, so we have to check all this variances this. And we got a tax actually here, and in fact we have not yet configured. Let me edit the taxes over here. We have separate sessions about the taxes and FISN taxes, how we can configure. And at this point of time, I'm going to say 0, no tax. Let me go for validate the invoice again. Now this invoice amount is not a problem. We'll say same, and if I go for validation, earlier there were 4 holds. Now there is only 1. There is a distribution variance. We need to check. And code combination, same key flex fields, we will find descriptive flex field, key flex field, same accounts we'll see, almost we'll see, but accounting structure is up to our requirement. We'll be defining our own chart of accounts and ledgers and currency calendar, accounting calendar. This all we are going to create. Now we can see the invoices validated. So like this, you can see how flexible the application and in fact the features provided by Oracle. You can see the entire status of the invoice here itself. Okay. So, and if you want to go for find this about this record, we can see. So which user, like almost who columns we can find here. And let me go for close 24325. That's an invoice. And we can search invoice, manage invoices 24325. That's our invoice number. Yes. Select. Now we can find the invoice result here, and again different actions, approval, cancels. That we'll see that later. Okay, fine. So this is how we will be going to create an invoice. So is everybody is clear? Anybody is having doubts how to perform a sample invoice here? Next, we'll be discussing now an enterprise structure model. I'll just give overall idea of enterprise structure now, but the actual enterprise structure one by one in depth we'll be discussing here. So now this is the structure of enterprise in Fusion applications. Like we used to have a multi-arc structure in EBS, right? In EBS, we used to have multi-arc structure like this. Whenever we want to implement financials to the client, first we have to gather the requirement from the client. Not only financials, any module. First we'll ask the client what is your company name, in which countries you have a business, in which locations and branches you registered your company, nothing but legal offices, and what are the branches you are doing the business, and every branch is having inventories or any sales, what exactly you are trying to do, and what are departments, jobs, and all this, right? So that's what in EBS we used to do: business groups, ledgers, legal entity, operating unit, and inventory organizations. These are we used to define, right? The same thing almost in Fusion, but we got some more features, some more organizations into the list. Okay, so we got an enterprise here and division. Enterprise is nothing but name of the company. That will be top level. There will be only one enterprise for one instance. We can't define multiple enterprises. It is not at all possible. Only one enterprise for one instance. Okay, so that we will see the name of the enterprise. Then we will find the divisions. So division is defined based on the geographical structure or based on the line of business. For example, let's say we are implementing Fusion financials to the Tata client, and client says, I have a Tata Motors business, Tata Steel, Tata Power, and Tata Telecom. Different we have. Okay, so we would like to go for implement this financial suit to the client. Then we are going to define 4 different types of divisions. Okay, Tata Motors is a separate division, Steels is a separate division, Tata Power. Or if client says Tata India is separate division, Tata US is separate division. So it's up to our requirement how we wanted to define the divisions. But the division is optional, not mandatory. It's up to the client requirement. We'll be configuring the divisions. We will be configuring the divisions over here it is. Okay. So after divisions configuration, then we'll be defining the LDG. It stands for Legislative Data Group. So where we are going to run mainly the payroll, where we are going to run mainly the payroll over there. And we will be having the main top level organization. So that's payroll entity here, LDC. legislative data group. Here it is. Okay. And ledger obviously will be creating. Ledger is to maintain our accounting transactions. We'll be doing that ledgers here. And legal entity where the legal office is registered here. And within the legal entity, we'll be defining business units, nothing but an operating units in EBS. I'm just comparing with the EBS here. LDC is equal to business group. Ledgers are common, legal entity, operating unit, and is nothing but a business unit in Fusion applications, and inventory organizations. Within the inventory, we'll see again sub-inventories and locations and items. Those are common. We don't find any change over here. It is. We don't find any change over here. It is. Okay. So we'll be discussing one by one later when we start actual this. This is overall enterprise structure. If there are somebody from non-EBS background also, you will be able to understand when we start creating one by one. When we start creating one by one, discussing about the definition of that particular organization, then we can easily understand. It's not like only we'll be comparing with the EBS and we'll be going. So whenever comparison is required, then we will be going ahead with this. No. Business groups are equal to LDC, legislative data groups in Fusion. In EBS, here will be, in EBS business group, and here is LDC, legislative data group. And here operating unit is nothing but here business unit. There is a new concept introduced in Fusion, which has inherited from PeopleSoft concept called set ID here. Okay. And the versions, when it comes to the version of the product, when we go for user menu, and we can access the version from here, go to about applications, you can see that this is release 13 version we are working on. This is the latest version. Of course, everybody has to work with the same version because the client Oracle will give the latest version only to the clients in the cloud. Okay. Thank you guys. So let's see you tomorrow. So in the tomorrow demo session, we are going to, today we have seen how to assign the roles to the users and how to create an invoice from account payables, an enterprise structure model. And tomorrow we'll be going to have the third demo and we'll see how we can create invoices, requisitions, and sample sales orders and assets creations. From day after tomorrow onwards, sessions will be started. Thank you. And this demo, you can check it from the YouTube. And I request you to subscribe our YouTube channel here. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can access. So our demo will be here. Please subscribe to our channel and tomorrow let's see you on this. Exactly. We'll be discussing cloud names. Not from the front end, we cannot see, but there is a separate documentation provided by Oracle. We can check from there. So we got cloud documentations here. Every module we'll see here. Module value will find the tables and all. So we'll be discussing about that. Thank you. Let's see you tomorrow.